Om Shanti. Lovely to see you all, beautiful souls. And this Murli was the 18th of January, 1992. And 18th of January Murlis are always very, very special because it's the day of love, the day of remembrance. And so Baba responds with love to all the love from the Brahmin children's hearts that are reaching the subtle region. So this one also, Baba saying how Baba is seeing this expression of love through the pearls in people's eyes, tears basically, but also the outpouring of love from everyone's hearts and the songs of love that are being sung by each and every one, and how there's that feeling of love emerging, that bhavna, but also that pure zeal and enthusiasm and the pure thought that we want to become like the Father, equal to the Father. So Baba's feeling all of this reach the subtle region. And in return for that, Baba wants to give a very special blessing. And so Baba then gave a special blessing to everyone. And that blessing was, may you children, each one of you, become the embodiment of love. It's very beautiful to see how Baba responds in kind. We give our love to Baba, and in return, Baba gives us a very special blessing. But this blessing is not just love for ourselves, but yes, be the image of love, so that there's love shining from your eyes, love that's visible through your face, you're the embodiment, love that's manifest through your actions, just everything of love, so that you are truly the embodiment of love. And even if there are people who criticize you, who don't like you, who don't want your love, it's okay. You continue to give them that love. And so Baba saying, make sure that absolutely at all times for everyone, you have the state in which your own inner attitude is of love, your vision is of love, and your actions are also of love. The vritti, the drishti, the kriti. And through that, with everybody sharing that love on all levels, then together we're going to be able to create a world of love. And so Baba's beautiful, beautiful gift and blessing for all of us, but also the reminder of the task that through the power of love, there's a whole new world that is created. And so this is the world that lies ahead of us. And so Baba saying that when there is love, what is it that you want to do? You just celebrate, you sing, you dance, you eat. And so this is the greatest celebration of all, the celebration of love of the ocean with the rivers of love. And so this is the beautiful celebration. And most people celebrate the new year. But for you, every second is new. Every moment, there are new ideas, new thoughts, new directions, and a new awareness that comes for you. And so part of the celebration is having good food. And Baba gives us very, very good food. Baba gives us Brahma Bhojan. And from Shivbaba's treasure store to Brahma Baba's kitchen, Baba connected both together. So you have no worries at all, looking at the state of the world and seeing how people are searching so desperately for pure love, true love, and you're not able to find it. And so whether it's the devotees who are searching, or whether it's the multimillionaires who are searching, but they don't know that they can't buy love. Their millions won't give them that experience. But you children are the ones who serve these souls and bring them to the awareness of who is the divine being who's able to give everyone that experience of love. So the multimillionaires and billionaires are searching, the scientists are searching, and their search is so intense that they forget everything else and they keep searching and they're lost in that search. They just want something, something, something. What are they looking for? They don't know, but they're just engaged and lost in that search. And so they don't know what is that experience of finding God's love. And then there are the politicians, all of them running around concerned about their chairs, that they might lose their chairs tomorrow. And so seeking to control and seeking to hold on to those and worried about the future. And you children, no worries at all. Neither worry about tomorrow, kal, no worry about death, no worries. If I'm not scared of death, is there anything else I'm going to be scared of? So Baba, very lovely putting these two words together, kal and kal. And so kal, tomorrow, kal, death. And so Baba saying that you know that there'll always be enough in Shivbaba's Bhandari, the treasure store, as well as Brahma Baba's kitchen, Bhandara. Always, always overflowing. The Baba gave a very interesting warning there. Khot means a lack, but khot also means falsehood, something false. And so if in your bhavna and whatever else you give to God, there's something that's an alloy mixed in into the pure gold of good feelings and good wishes, but whatever that mixture is, then that won't allow you to have abundance. And if you make sure that there's nothing that's mixed in, everything pure and clean, then of course the bhandara is full, the kitchen is overflowing, abundance, but also the bhandari is full. And when you take Brahma Pujan, you take it in the awareness of being a trustee, even living at home with family. You've made sure that your earnings are clean and honest, and you offer those to Baba, and you say, Baba, everything I have is actually yours. It is yours because it belongs to you. But yes, I'll be a trustee and look after this. And so that's where Baba's point was, don't let there be any mixture in that thought, that pure bhavna, that everything has come from God to me, and it's my job now to make sure that I return it with multiplication. I return it with even greater bhavna than before. And so very, very lovely Murli, emphasizing the whole role of love and the ceremony and beautiful eating, drinking, dancing, which is what Sangam Yuga is about. But there's another side to Sangam Yuga also, and that is the experience of silence. And it's wonderful to see how Baba moves from celebration and ceremonies, and then brings us to the essence of Sangam Yuga, which is being able to go beyond sound. And so the day of the 18th, usually a day for intense tapasya. And so, yes, there'll be that stage in which you're able to go beyond sound. But Baba reminding us that to go beyond sound, I need to be able to practice that now. If I apply a full stop, does my mind really come to a halt at that time? Or does it come to a halt 10 yards, 50 yards, 100 yards, however much more? Is it that you apply the brake to your mind, but the brakes don't work, and so you end up very, very far away from the source of water? And so that stage where I want to go beyond sound, I want to experience the bodiless stage, I want to experience the angelic stage, And so my practice has to be that regularly through the day, maybe a traffic control, I just check and see how many minutes is it taking for me to make my mind become quiet. Very simple way to check how close or far I am from my own karmatit stage and the stage in which I'm able to go home. Baba said, not half a stop, but a full stop. Why? Because as time goes on, and we are seeing those scenes of the drama emerge more and more powerfully, there'll be noise everywhere. There'll be the noise of nature, there'll be the noise of the Tamoguni people. All this chaos will be happening all around us. But at that moment, can I just simply go beyond sound, full stop here, and awareness there, and I'm actually in my home. Wherever it is I may be physically, but with this practice of full stop, I can leave the body, be detached from the body, not leave physically permanently, but no, detached from the body, and then I can be with Baba in the subtle region. And there, not only will I be able to experience silence, but from that space, I'll be able to serve others and show them also how to come up above. And then 18th January would be a time when many of the Dadis would go to Madhuban. And 92 was a time when most of the Dadis were still around. Two of that original group had gone, Mama and Baba, of course, but also Dadi Pushpashanta, and she was the instrument for Global Hospital. So she had left 83 February Shivratri, and then Didi had left in July 83. And so we lost two very beautiful jewels. But of course, they went on to do a further task, a more elevated task. But Baba talking to them very beautifully. Earlier on in the Murli also, of course, Baba spoke to that particular group because Baba was saying, what is it that gave you the power to leave behind everything and come running to Baba? It was the power of love. You didn't have any gyan at that time. You just felt the love, and the love was the magnet that pulled you to Baba and brought about the transformation. And now Baba was telling them that because of your love, the blessing that Baba's giving you and the closeness that you have with Baba, the blessing that Baba's giving you is the right to all the powers. And this is why we used to see in all the Dadis, not just the power of silence and the power of love and the power of truth. We saw this in all of them, but also the ability to discern, the ability to merge, the ability to become introverted. So all of the powers that you see in the 8 powers, definitely they had all of those, but together with all of those, they had the powers. Each one of those virtues was a power that they actually had in their life. And Baba promising them, because of your closeness to Baba now, you will always be close. You'll be there in the kingdom. You're here now. You'll fly home with Baba. You'll be able to return to the home with Baba and then come into your kingdom with Baba also. So the guarantee from Baba for the all-round part of the Dadis and their special gifts of all the powers coming to them because of their closeness now and their closeness in the future also. So very, very beautiful. And of course, Baba's then also remembered the whole big family and all the cards and all the blessings and everything that's come, that Baba's saying that don't send more cards. It becomes a problem to look after them. Just send your love and your good wishes, and no need for anything further. But yes, it all reaches Baba. And so when Baba's talking to everyone, Baba's also reminding them that make sure that what you're seeing is always good. Don't see anything else. If you see only good, you yourself become good. And so everything is acha, everything is good, it's fine. And if you continue to keep that awareness of seeing good, then the future, whatever is happening now is good, but through that awareness, the future will be even better. The future will definitely be very, very good. So Baba is showing us what it is we need to do in a very practical way. And it's fascinating to think that 92 till today, so that's 30 years. And through this period, many have been with Baba. And just see yourself and see how far you've come, but also how much further you would like to go. And so we are creating our destiny right now at this time. And so do I want to experience that closeness to God? My choice. I can do. Baba showed me how to be able to do it. But let me be able to create my highest destiny by being good, by seeing good and doing good. So this was the lovely Murli that we had for 18th January, 92. And always, of course, I'm sure when we read the dates of Murlis, we have this question, where was I? And I know that because Daddy Janki would have been in Madhuban, I would have been in London at that point and not in Madhuban. So check for yourself, where were you in 1992? And what was the impact of the Murli then? And what is the impact of the Murli now? Is there a difference? Yes, I think there is a difference in that Baba is saying to us today, now this is the time for you to make effort. We've seen what the Dadis have done through all these years, but now it's your turn. Do as much as you possibly can to be able to take all the blessings from Baba and all the goodness that is around. So let me stop here and hand you back to Sister Aruna.
Thank you so much, Sister Jayanti. Perhaps we can start with one of your stories, because as Baba said, when we first come to Baba, then we have this experience of love. It's not the gyan that attracts us, it's the love. So I know very much that you were so taken over by Baba's love, Mama's love. So would you like to share a story on that?
Okay. As a child, meeting Baba and Mama when I was 8, it was just pure love. But of course, coming back to London, it became a dream rather than something that was present further. And when I traveled to India through my teens, again, a lot of love from Baba. But again, when I'd leave Abu and come back to even Bombay or Pune and then London, I'd feel, it was such a different world. It was a world somewhere up there. It wasn't here in the physical dimension. It would take on that sort of feeling in my heart. And then when I actually decided to take the course many years later in 1967, then 68, 68, I actually took the course in April. And the experiences of love in yoga were so powerful that I decided just 6 weeks later to surrender. wrote a letter to Baba, and Baba sent a reply by telegram. In those days, we would have telegrams flying back and forth. And the next morning I went to class in Pune, Dadis Jayanti, she had actually said to me, write to Baba. So I'd written in English and Baba's reply had come. And so she gave me this telegram to read. And telegrams usually meant bad news. And so I wondered what's going on. But this was very good news. This was Baba writing to me saying, come and discuss personally in Madhuban. Janak is coming, come along with her. And so within 24 hours, I got this message. And then 2 weeks later was in Madhuban. And Baba gave me drishti and Baba said, child, what's in your heart? And I said, Baba, I want to surrender. And Baba said, I knew it already. And 3 years earlier, Baba had spoken about my being a Ruhani teacher. And I didn't know what's the difference between Ruhani, Jismani, spiritual, physical, and Shikshak. I didn't know that word in Hindi. So at that time, I thought, Baba was just being pleasant and saying nice things. But then I realized that it was actually a prophecy, that Baba had seen my future and had spoken on that in that context. So yes, it was the experiences of yoga, which is good, that it wasn't just the physical meeting with Baba, because that was beautiful and very loving, but it wasn't enough for me to register who this is exactly. Then the knowledge helped me understand properly Shivbaba, Brahma Baba, the subject of yoga. And then when I got drishti, yes, that was magic. Baba's power of love was such, it pulled the soul away from here to a world in Paramdham to experience just me and God together, alone, no one else. Very, very lovely, powerful experience.
Yeah, that's lovely. Well, mine is similar. Won't go into the story, but just that meeting Dadi and yourself in London. I mean, at a young age, what you don't understand any gyan. So, although even I was coming on weekends, the gyan was not that deep, but just the pull of the love. And it's not like there wasn't love at home. I was quite spoiled at home. But this, as you're saying, this Ruhani love, I'm sure the soul was being attracted, not the body, but the soul was just, taking it all in. Gentlemen, the other aspect I think it's good to take up is this, or elaborate more, is this consciousness of mind. Because we've seen this, and I've seen this also in a few cases where lots of different people are contributing to the center financially and maybe otherwise. But then the instrument just seems to think it's their center. and in a way, as soon as Murli's over, it's like, okay, bye, go. And then I've also seen how then the center, for some reason in the drama, closes. So it's not like the students create any upheaval, but drama just makes it happen.
Yeah.
So would you like to elaborate a bit on, how to, remove that consciousness of mine, or you have any stories around that?
It's true that when I really think, and the reality is that how could I open a center? What capacity do I have to be able to teach? What capacity do I have to get the resources together? It's not possible. But Baba wants to make something happen, so the right souls come who have the possibility of putting in resources, and Baba gives me the gift of a divine intellect so that I'm able to share some gyan with others. And that bug of ego, which is the deepest rooted sanskar that we all carry within our souls, because that was a sanskar that first tripped me up in the copper age and made me fall. because the ego came of the identity of the body. When there was the identity of the soul, it was paradise. And so the banishment from the Garden of Eden for Eve and Adam is where I know better, I can do what I wish. And so that apple, the tree of knowledge, but the tree is the knowledge of the body. And so that first sanskar that made us fall is I know, and I can do something. And so I don't have to follow God's instructions. I am in charge. And at that moment, then I've seen how contributions stop coming in. And because of this mixture that's there in the soul court, the I factor has come in instead of thinking it's Baba's center, which very definitely is a little place, a big place. It's Baba's house, Baba's home. And so when that happens, then yes, service comes to a standstill. It's very, very difficult to stoke up the fire of enthusiasm and to generate that energy for service.
Yeah, and I loved what Baba said, that even if you are in a center, you are in the Father's center, not yours.
Exactly.
And so if everybody had that illusion, living in that illusion, Baba also clarified that.
But also it's lovely that Baba's including people who don't live in centers and is saying that even if you're living in your home, but if you have the consciousness of being a trustee, then yes, you also are having Brahma Bhojan. You're also eating from Brahma Baba's kitchen. And so Baba gives everyone opportunity to do the best that they can.
And the other question was, gentlemen, what is a loving attitude? We know kind of what is loving vision, loving speech. But what is a loving attitude?
Today, when I approach you, what is my attitude towards you? Is it one, well, I'm going to show her that I'm right, or I'm brighter than her, I'm more clever than her. I've seen her do so much, but I want to show her that I can do even better. So all of this is in the attitude, vritti. And then, of course, it manifests in my language, in my body language, in my behavior with you. I'm competing with you. And you feel that discomfort in my presence. And maybe you can't say it's me. You can't even say that, yes, this person's competing. Maybe later on you understand, but at that moment, there's just a sense of discomfort, unease. Some people walk in and you feel comfortable with them. Other people walk in and you feel that edginess, that discomfort. And so when I approach you as Baba's child, as Baba's instrument, I just approach you with love. And so that attitude then shines. You can see it in my eyes, you can hear it in the tone of my voice. And I don't need to hug you or anything, but you can feel that loving presence that comes up. So definitely attitude is a big, big determinant, a factor to determine how we behave with each other.
Right, nice, gentlemen. And so we had Sister Jayanti here. I'm at the, well, I suppose we should let everyone know that I'm now based in the Global Retreat Center, but still visiting Middle East. So we had Sister Jayanti here yesterday and yesterday and this morning. And gentlemen, this morning, I'd like you to maybe share with everyone the answer you gave when I asked you about being authoritative and still respectful. And I was saying how the Dadis have this perfect balance And so what is the motivation behind that? And Sister Jayanti gave a very lovely answer.
I think most of you have had sustenance and very close contact with the Dadis at some point, and you would have noticed that the only thing that's in their heart and also in their sanskars is that they want to give benefit. They know how to benefit themselves spiritually. This is why they've reached the position that they have, but they also want to give benefit to everyone who comes in touch with them. And it doesn't matter which country, which religion, which background, doesn't matter which profession or position, they don't even remember that or hold that in their awareness. But just simply, can I give benefit to this individual? And so Dadi Prakashmani, she would sit in the courtyard, whoever approached her, and she would want to share loving drishti, a few words with them. And whoever heard a few words from Dadi personally in those meetings in the courtyard, I'm sure it reinforced your faith and stabilized your consciousness in a more elevated way, because what she was sharing touched your heart. And it was because she was just concerned about your benefit, your well-being, nothing else at all. And so that spiritual authority came through their yoga, and the respect that they gave every human being came from their deep practice of soul consciousness. In soul consciousness, when I see you and you and you, I'm not seeing your face, I'm not seeing your clothes, I'm just seeing that soul that's shining. And so my concern is to give benefit. And if I have that, then I'm going to treat you with respect, and whatever I share is going to be valuable.
Lovely. Thank you, gentlemen. So we move on to, because we've had a few questions pending. Somebody would like clarification on Abhogta, Asochta, Akarta. We often say this about Baba, that he doesn't experience, he doesn't think, he doesn't do. So what does that mean, Jen?
There are two aspects to this thing about not doing Akarta. And one aspect is that God does so much. He created the yajna, he's still sustaining us and caring for us. And that's just with the family. And how much is he doing for the bhagats and those who are seeking the truth? So all of that God is definitely involved with. But God carries no consciousness that I have done anything. And so doing, and yet totally detached from the outcome, from the result, doing it in such a way that it is the best, and therefore it doesn't need secondhand checking or anything like that. But let me do what I can, and then it is as if I've done nothing at all. I don't need recognition. I don't need further ammunition for anything. And so I think that that's one very deep aspect for us to understand about Akarta. And in terms of karma philosophy, God is complete, full. There's no space for anything else. With human souls, there's a huge vacuum, whether it's because of our desires, and Papa told us that your desire makes you less good. And if you deal with all desires, then you will be good. And so here, this context of this interaction with other human beings and whatever that may be, but God is full. And so even though everything that God is doing is for our benefit, God doesn't seek the return of that Akarta. I've done it, and it was in the drama, and it's finished. Nothing. I remember a scene with Didi Manmoini, and we'd followed Didi into Baba's room. they used to say, this is the chamber. And so what she meant by that was in Baba's tiny little room, a few of us there, and Didi asking questions. And one day she said to Baba, Baba, the Murli you spoke today was special. It was so good, so beautiful. And Baba looked at it and said, really? And Didi said, yes, Baba, the Murli was fantastic. And Baba said, okay, when he comes again, you must tell him that. So Shivbaba not accepting praise, and Brahma Baba, and of course we know that the Murli is Bhaktada. There are certain things you can identify, this is from Shivbaba, and others you can identify, this is from Brahma Baba. But neither Shivbaba accepting any praise, nor Brahma Baba accepting any praise. So I've done, but it is as if I've done nothing at all. I don't need any recognition. And then it's connected very much with Abhogta, the experience of the fruit of the effort I've made. And so Shivbaba would fly off to Paramdham, but Brahma Baba would get up at 2:30 in the morning, and Daddy would see the red light in his room on when she was in aeroplane. And then she would be able to see straight down into Baba's room. And when there was a red light, she'd see Baba sitting there on the gaddi, the little mattress that's there by the door. And so she would know that Baba's already started his tapasya. And so really, Abhogta, not seeking the return or the experience of anything, not wanting anything at all. God's title, Asochta. Again, they say that when the thought arose in the mind of God, God left that world of stillness and silence and came to reveal himself so that we could understand who he is. We only know God because God chooses to reveal everything about himself. And so God came and he did everything, and he's still doing it, but he does not waste time thinking about it. The thought comes, it's manifest in action, and no need for anything further. And so this stage where really Baba wants us to be like the Father, Asochta, no waste thoughts whatsoever. And as soon as my task is over, to go back into silence, which is what Baba's talking about, that as time comes nearer, your practice of putting a full stop totally and being in the mountains, in Baba's shadow, in Baba's canopy, means that, yes, you have the opportunity to see a lot, do a lot, but it's okay. Accept it gracefully, use it to move forward, and then it's folded within the reel of drama. Don't need to talk about it too much, don't need to sing songs about it. I did this, I did this, I did this. No, I did it and finish. So Asochta, Akarta, Abhogta.
Nice. Thank you, gentlemen. I think we should frame that and put it somewhere. Thank you so much. So actually, somebody's got this question. I mean, we've kind of taken it up, but maybe again, it's good to clarify for everyone's sake. They're asking, so what is the difference between Brahma Baba's Bhandara and Shivbaba's Bhandari? Because of the way Baba put it.
Yeah.
It's one and the same, isn't it?
No. No, it's not. Bhandara, the kitchen, and we always use the term Brahma Bhojan because Shivbaba made Brahma Baba surrender everything, and Brahma Baba then gave everything, and that created the yagya, which is still feeding us. And the whole system of food is very much connected to human beings rather than souls. And so Brahma Baba, the one who surrendered everything so that we could be fed, until now, the yajna continues to feed us. And so the kitchen. But the Bhandari, the treasure box, the money box. And just imagine, here's somebody who comes to Baba's house, and I'm an instrument to share Baba's gyan with them, to maybe even feed them toli if it's appropriate. But where did I get all this from? I got it from Shivbaba, the ocean of knowledge, and I got the wisdom to make toli and share toli also from Baba's teachings, from Baba's systems. And so that soul is touched by Baba to put something into Baba's box. And so it's Shivbaba who's inspiring everything to happen in terms of the resources that we have for Baba's family. Just think about it in COVID. How did Madhuban manage? There were no guests coming. There were, at that moment, firstly, still 10,000 people in Shantivan. And then gradually, they organized buses to take people back. They organized a whole train. 1,000 people from Hyderabad went back home in trains, but that took like 3 months to organize. And so there's no income coming in. What happens? How did Madhuban function? Any number of you wrote to me saying, we're not able to come to Madhuban. Can we send the money that we would have used for our own travels to give to Madhuban, because we know that Madhuban must be in need? And so, who told you to do this? It was Baba's touching. And so the resources coming, whether it's through COVID or post-COVID, and you see all the huge projects that happen in Madhuban, how have they all happened? Everyone feeling this is my home, everyone feeling that this is my responsibility, and Shiv Baba's sustaining us and touching us and guiding us. And so we offer to Baba whatever we have, whatever it is that's needed. So it's a beautiful way in which Baba's continually replenishing the resources of the yajna. You know, in India, when a businessman who's rich, it takes a lot to create a yajna. A rich businessman says to the priest, okay, you get everything together and I want to have a yajna. And it could be for a thank you. It could be to ward off bad omens. It could be because there's a desire for something. Different motives in bhakti. But the process begins and there's a discussion. Well, which type of yajna do you want? Some are yajnas for gyan, some are yajnas for God's love, different things. And so there's a whole big process that gets kicked off and is in motion. And so Baba's doing all of that, touching souls to make things happen for Baba and Baba's family. That really is how Baba works, incognito, so the person doesn't even know that it's an idea that's come to me from above. But the person thinks, well, I had this idea, which is fine. Baba's happy for them to have the idea and for Baba then to be able to take care of his children in the best way possible.
But gentlemen, I'm going to be a little of angel's advocate. But if we go by your theory, then again, people ask this question, well, if God is touching, then why doesn't he just touch a millionaire or billionaire and everything gets done at once?
Baba's always said, Baba has come for the poor, and the poor are the ones who give their pennies, and the contribution of the pennies is what's creating the kingdom. Baba could have done that instantly. And of course, Brahma Baba was of substance, a man of means. And so what he contributed was fantastic. But he contributed not just wealth, He gave his heart, his soul, his body, his life, his breath, everything. And so it's because of that that he's become Narayan. But Baba says, the ones who are poor are the ones who recognize me. I mean, I'll share something with you. There's a few millionaires that I know, maybe they're billionaires by now. And they've been to Madhuban and they connected with Avyakt Baba. And when it comes to the whole subject of giving, now I'm speaking generally, they don't give so much. Somehow they're not touched, whatever the reason may be, but they're not touched. So there's something within the mechanism of the drama in which the Lord of the poor says, I have come to make the poor, unfortunate ones the richest and the most fortunate in the world. That mechanism is working till today.
Yes, and I remember Sister Jayanti, I remember Dadi saying that because there was some instance in one country, and she said, well, if this person gives, then Baba is obliged to have to give back. And so Baba's also careful about from whom he takes. Okay, there's another, I think, important question. So somebody's asking that a lot of Brahmins leave because of guilt and guilty conscience, because the destination is very high. So how to deal with guilt?
If today I know I've made a mistake and I don't feel guilty about it, that would not be appropriate either. But at this moment, I'm feeling guilty, which means that I'm in the process of realizing that it was a very serious mistake that I made. But at this point now, having had the guilt, having realized that I've made a mistake, and having wanted to seek forgiveness from Baba, having wanted to take Baba's help for recovery, then at this moment, if I just hold on to the guilt, again, is past habits kicking in. Guilt is not going to help me have yoga. I'll be thinking about again and again the situation rather than God. Guilt is not going to help me change, but if I've experienced guilt and it's made me realize that I'm not caring for my family in the way Baba wants me to care, and I bring about that change, then there's no more margin for guilt. And if perchance it's the end of life and a person can't even speak, but they want to seek forgiveness, then I know in a few instances where they've had the thought, Baba, I seek your forgiveness and I want to let go of my mistake. Baba's helping them. And that mistake gets dealt with, it's absolved. And the person's able to continue on a higher ground than before.
Thank you. Somebody is asking, if after giving so much and you don't get it back, then what should you do?
After giving so much, how am I counting what I've given? And who am I expecting to get back from? I think it's a very interesting question because it's clear that there isn't this awareness that Baba has given me so much, and whatever I'm giving to Baba is a tiny, minute drop in the ocean compared to how much Baba has given me. And so what sort of return am I seeking? Is it that I want praise? Do I want my name up in lights? Do I want to have the stage, the platform? And why should I want all of that? When I gave from my heart. Presumably, it wasn't because somebody told me to give. I gave from my heart. And it's said in Hindi, once you've given, then it's gone into the ocean. You can't even count it. It's gone in the ocean of charity, and drama, karma will bring me the return at the right time. The return will come, but am I expecting the return in tangible ways today? Then I'm going to be disappointed. Having given, am I going to get a front row seat when Baba comes? Maybe not. Having given, am I going to get a platform to give a talk? Maybe not. Or because all that depends on not just the giving of money, but so many other factors. And so why have I given? What was my intention, my motive? Let me explore that. And probably then I'll realize that I need to clean out my motive. And then there won't be that expectation that I want something in return now. What Baba gives in return, when there's something given with love from the heart, with humility, without ego, Baba gives a huge amount of joy that God has accepted what I have with love. And God is going to put it to good purpose, to good use. And I don't need to think about that. It'll happen in the future, but I'm grateful that God was able to receive it. And I'm happy. The happiness that comes and the power. The soul receives spiritual power in return today for whatever it has done for Baba. Happiness and power are the two things that Baba gives me now in Sangam Yug. And then Sat Yug, everything comes anyway. I think it was in today's blessing. If you have any desires, then you can't become good. Icha and acha. Icha, desire, good, acha. And so this is going to interfere in my spiritual growth and development. So let me say, thank you for the opportunity of being able to give.
Thank you, gentlemen. And we had a very lovely Rakhi here last night. So, gentlemen, this is Rakhi fever now. So any thoughts, any preparation that you would like to suggest?
Generally, everybody knows that it's the festival for purity. But maybe what I need to do for myself is really ask myself deeply, what is it that I can give to Baba so that I can come to that state of total purity that's going to carry me to perfection? And so maybe it's a little bit of greed that's still there. Maybe there's a little bit of attachment that's there. Or maybe it's that serpent which lies deep inside us and we don't even realize that it's sleeping, and it can wake up and jump out any moment. And that is ego. And so can I check myself in front of Baba with love, with honesty, and see what is the weakness that still lies within that's going to interfere in my being able to claim my full inheritance from Baba, because that is what Baba is offering me at this moment, an inheritance of love, of purity, of peace.
Right, so we'd like to stop here, and the next session is on August 15th, which is actually Bharat's Independence Day. And so here we are celebrating. So gentlemen will be resuming on Mondays for the next few weeks, same time, 4 p.m. London time. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone. And just this, gentlemen, yeah, so this continues. Whoever has asked questions in the past or whatever questions have been taken up, if you go to this link, and the link will be put on the chat as well, you can get the previous answers that Sister Jayanti has given. So this is also an invaluable tool. So yes, thank you everyone. And thank you, Sister Jayanti.
And thank you to you, Arunaben, for making this happen. And thanks to everyone. Om Shanti.
There is a space that exists with us and around us, where angels sing on rays of light, on rays of light, and love pours forth, love pours forth, love pours forth from the heart of the universe. There is a space that exists with us